Do you guys see that? The bounce in this curd? It's starting to stick. That's beautiful, you guys. This is going to be a really good cheese. Hello goat lovers, Crystal here with Blue Cactus Dairy Goats, and we're in the kitchen again, and I'm going to bang out a couple cheeses. So I'm going to do a double batch of Monterey Jack. So, for those of you who don't know, initially I got the extra pans, the thermometers, another cheese press, because in my head I was just going to be banging out double batches of cheese left and right. And I really haven't made much at all, so I need to get on that. So, but anyway, gonna do a double batch. So we got our milk here, and I would just like to point out this is 3 days worth of milk for my 6 little lovely Nigis, so that's actually a really cool sight. Anyway, we're going to get started on this. I'm going to get the milk into these pans so we can start. Alright, so we got the milk in our stock pots, and I'm doing 3-gallon batches. So each stock pot has 3 gallons. You end up with a really nice sized cheese, and the bigger pot actually helps keep the heat, because you got to get the milk up to certain temperatures at certain times. So the larger pot, obviously, it's going to help contain that temperature longer for you so that you don't have to keep turning your stove back on. So first step is we got to get both of these pots of milk up to 88 degrees. So I'm just got it on low, well, more of a medium low, and I'm just going to continue to stir it so the milk doesn't scorch on the bottom. Alright guys, so we got our milk up to 88 degrees, and this is the point that we're going to add our culture into it. So there's a lot of different recipes for Monterey Jack cheese, and very few of them call for thermophilic culture. It's usually you're going to see mesophilic culture, but I like this recipe. I've had success with it, so I'm going to stick with it. So for us, we're using thermophilic culture, and these cultures I just got from the New England cheese making supply company. That's a mouthful. So anyway, for the thermophilic culture, most of my cheeses I use the mesophilic, so I don't have too much of these, but they come in the pre-packed, already measured out for you. One of these packets is going to set up 2 gallons of raw milk, 2 gallons of pasteurized milk, or 4 gallons of raw. So we're just going to put a packet in each. And what you do with any culture, you're going to sprinkle it on the top, all over the top. And we have to let it hydrate for 5 minutes. So in other words, this really fine powder, if you tried to stir it in right now, it just wouldn't stir in very well. So it needs to suck up some of that milk, that moisture, and then we'll be able to stir that in. Okay, so it's been rehydrating for 5 minutes now, and we're going to stir that culture into the milk and with an up and down motion using your ladle. So try not to break the surface of the milk with your ladle when you're stirring it. Okay, so I'm going to get the other one stirred in, but what we're going to do is keep it here at 88 degrees. We should have no issue with that. This pot's really great, on my end anyway. So keep an eye on your temperature. 88 degrees for 30 minutes this has to sit. And ripen is what they call it. Okay guys, it's been 30 minutes, and now at this point we need to get this milk. It is at 88 degrees, but we need to just raise it up to 90 degrees. So that's what we're going to do. Should just take just a couple minutes to do. Keep a close eye, because we're going to add the rennet here once it's 90 degrees. Now it's at 90 degrees, just took a couple seconds, and I'm going to put in the animal rennet. We use animal, and for this recipe, we're going to need 1 teaspoon. And you're going to add that teaspoon of rennet to a 1/4 cup of water. Stir it. Now when adding it, You're going to pour the water and rennet over your ladle and just kind of get it around and then stir it in. So here we go. And then same stirring motion, up and down. Make sure it gets real incorporated throughout. Okay. Now for the next guy. Okay, so I'm going to lid this. It's got the rennet stirred in real well. 45 minutes we're going to let it sit and coagulate, so it should be a nice firm curd. But I'm also going to keep an eye on the temperature. 45 minutes, I shouldn't drop in temperature at all, but again, just keep an eye, because it wants it to be at 90 degrees, guys, for 45 minutes. And then the fun begins. Alright, it's been 45 minutes, and this is one big fat solid curd, and it looks really good. So you're going to check and make sure you get a clean break. So come on in, I'll show you what that looks like. You can even see right there where I took out my thermometer. But I'm just going to cut inside. See that? Nice. So the size I'm looking to achieve here is going to be a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to cut them all in 1/2 inch cubes. I did see a lot of people will actually just get a whisk and break it up so it's these little tiny curds. I'm not going to do that. In theory, the larger curds could make a creamier cheese. So that would be my goal. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do here. So 1/2 inch cubes, guys. Alright, so I cut these curds with the vertical. Now I got to go in there and I have to, with my ladle, this is where it gets a little tricky, try to keep them at that same size all the way through the pot. But look, if you can tell this first pot, that's how much whey, just from cutting the curds, that's how much whey is already released. And this one I did just obviously right after. So, once you cut them, the whey starts releasing. Here we go. Make sure I can find my curds. Okay. Okay, so at this point, for the next 40 minutes, so this is where the cheese is going to be a lot of hands-on. I'm going to be working the curds rather, for the next couple of hours. So for this 40-minute period, I'm just going to be gently, very gently stirring it. But of course, because I want the curds to kind of be the same size, I'm going to go in here and just cut these larger ones. So, and why I'm going to continue stirring it is simply because it's going to help that whey releasing out of these curds. And there's for sure going to be some big ones in there. Just be real careful and gentle with them. See, look at those big boys from the bottom. So, I'm just going to go back and forth, babying these curds for the next 40 minutes. So I'll see you guys here in just a little bit, and in the next 20 minutes or so, I'll show you the size difference in the curds. Alright, it's been 20 minutes. Show you guys just the size difference in these curds, how much whey they've released actually. So we got most of them cut down to a good size, or equal size. And this one, look at that. They're matting together. If they sit in the bottom too long, they will mat together. So you don't want them to start sticking. Make sure you continually get up from the bottom. And then I just kind of shake it and make sure they're separating. But, yeah. So we're getting somewhere. We're releasing a lot of that whey, which is the purpose of this. And just continue to stir it for a solid 40, guys. Another thing I don't think I said in that last clip, we're going to make sure that we're keeping that, we're keeping the temperature at 90 degrees, because that's the temperature we need it at. So by any means, if it goes below the 90 degrees, get it back on the stove and just get it back up to that 90, keeping the curds off of the bottom, because the heat is going to cause them to stick together a lot more. Alright, it's been a total of 40 minutes, and at this stage in the game, still have an hour of stirring to go, but so we need to get the temperature up to 120 degrees very slowly. So it should take 30 minutes to get up to the 120. The reason being, if you get it too hot too fast, it's not going to slowly release the whey from those curds. It's going to cook the outside of the curd and no whey is going to be released. So that is the plan. Here, come and take a look at these curds. They're looking good. Just continue to stir and break them up. Now curds love to stick together, so that's why you just got to keep stirring. And as I've mentioned, once you turn this heat on, the warmer they get, the stickier they're going to get. So, and you don't want them cooking on the bottom. So just make sure you're continually coming up from the bottom and stirring. So, super, super, super low, guys. 30 minutes. We're going to be stirring. I'll see you back at 120 degrees. Alright, so it's been 30 minutes, guys. And just slowly in that 30-minute period, this just got up to 120. This one is like a degree away. So because of the residual heat, it's going to bring that temp up to the 120. I'm going to shut it off. And at this temperature, these curds are just wanting to stick together, man. So, next step. Here, guys, look at the curds. Watch how these ones, this pan actually wants to stick together even more. See that? So make sure your hands are clean, because that doesn't always work. You just kind of get in there and break them up a little. So we want to make sure we maintain 120 degrees, and then for the next 30 minutes we're just going to continue to keep kind of stirring. The recipe says you can stir every 5 minutes. They're just going to be one big curd if I walk away for 5 minutes, so I don't know why it says that, but I'm just going to keep stirring. I'm in this deep. My shoulder is hurting. It has been 15 minutes, and I'm calling it, guys. Usually it takes about 30, but it's only been 15, and these curds are good. They're like really elastic. There's only a couple. I don't want to ruin all the curds just because a couple are still have, you know, whey in them. I hope you guys saw that. But even this one, like the outside of it, like the whey's not in it, I don't know. They're good. I can tell. So, the heat's been off, but what I'm going to do at this point, give them one last good stir. These ones too, guys. You just see how they stick together like that too. So, but again, I'm just going to give them this one last real good stir, and then I'm going to let the whey, or let the curds settle down to the bottom and drain off that whey and get these guys into the cheese press. My arm hurts. Okay, so I drained all the whey off of these curds, and they just so quickly mat together, you guys. Look at that. So what I'm going to do is just break them up a little bit. I don't have to worry about it too much, but you want to be able to get them into the press there. So I have two different types of cheesecloth here. This one right here I've never used before, and then I have this one that I love, and it's a real large one, but this one was kind of skinny, So I just kind of overlapped it, so I'm hoping that one actually turns out to be okay. And then I need to order the other one that I've been telling myself to do for months and haven't, so my fault. Just break them up enough to be able to smush them down into that cheesecloth. I'm glad I called the curds when I did, because these suckers just want to stick to each other. Alright. This is my worry with these this cheesecloth here. It doesn't go all the way up the side. So hopefully that won't be a problem. Alright, so I'm just going to smash that down. Okay, good deal. I think we'll be alright with that. Okay guys, I really don't like this cheesecloth. It won't even come off of my hand. So, for the first press, it is 30 minutes at 10 pounds. I don't know how many pounds 10 pounds is with this type of press, but it's not very much. So I'm just going to get this lightly pressed, guys. Oh, there, I heard it. It's already coming out. Okay. I'll just twist that up so it doesn't come out. Alright. Just a light press. As soon as I heard it go squish, I stopped. So for 30 minutes, and then we'll be back to redress it. Alright guys, it's been 30 minutes. So at this point, this is the point I always get nervous. I always just want to make sure it's okay. Hopefully, I mean, it was a sticky curd, so hopefully it's going to be doing its thing and netting together just fine. And it is. Okay, cool. Alright, so now we're just going to flip it. Really nice. Good deal. That is what you want to see for sure. Okay. Really careful with it at this stage either way, because it's not knitted together super tight or anything. Okay, this one is good. We're going to give it another press for 2 hours. Okay, so for the second press, it's going to be 2 hours at 20 pounds. Do I know what 20 pounds is? No. So I'm going to just do it a little bit. I hear it squishing. There, that's how I'm going to go. So that was about, I don't know. It was about 10 pounds harder than the last press I did. So, that one's ready. This one, with the funky cheesecloth, we'll have to see. Hopefully it isn't messed up. Alright, be nice to me, cheese. I worked hard on you today. Okay, well it looks
not good.
No, it looks probably better than the other one. Yeah, this one looks good. Maybe I'll have to switch out cheesecloth's favorites.
Nope.
It sticks a little bit. That's nice. If I didn't mention, you guys, make sure that you dip your cheesecloth into the whey to help it not stick to the cheese so much. It is so soft, you guys. My handprint is in it just from holding it. I don't know if you guys can see that. But I'm actually really excited about how soft it is. or elastic would probably be a way better word. It's just really elastic, these curds, which the end product of a Monterey Jack should be. Both are doing really, really good. They knitted for that first press perfectly, so super cool, super exciting. Alright guys, very, very, very pleased with those two so far. So again, at this point, this is going to be a 2-hour press at 20 pounds. So I'm just going to gauge it, squeeze her down a little bit harder than I did the first press. That's good. And then throughout it as well, because this doesn't have a continuous weight, and as the weight is releasing, it's continually pressing down. I'm going to check it, I don't know, about every half hour or so. If it feels loose, I'll just tighten it just a little bit more. Back for our second dressing here. So after the first initial, oh, I hope it turned out. I'm feeling really good about this cheese, you guys. I think it's going to be really elastic and turn out really good. So it's been sitting for 2 hours in the press, and I did just barely tighten it a few times, just making sure it was still giving pressure. It really hasn't released much weight at all from the first and second pressing, to be honest. Cheddar releases a lot more whey. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy with this. It's starting to stick. That's beautiful, you guys. Nice. And the curd, it's got a really, really good texture to the curd, so I'm super excited. This is going to be a really good cheese. So, this one's doing good. Put it back, flip it, put it back in the press, and at this point, they're going to go in the press overnight. So for quite a few hours, they will be pressing. If you guys noticed, I did not salt this cheese, because the way I salt it, I'm going to brine it, so. But that won't be until it's done pressing. Now for the remainder of the night, it's still a 20-pound press, so just going to give it some pressure. That feels good. Alright, and then again, of course, I'm going to continue to, I wake up like 1,000 times a night because I drink too much water, but I'll just continue to check it and make sure there's not a lot of, just continue to make sure to twist it and give it more pressure. So cool on that one. Let's check the other one. Man, I tell you, I don't know if it's because this press is newer. This is the first time I've used this one that I purchased and happened to be painted, but it is smooth. Look at that. Do you guys see that? The bounce in this curd? That is just like so cool. One of the things I always look for before I open up my cheese, it'll give me a good indication if it's going to be a like a melter or a creamy cheese, is if when it's waxed and everything, if you're pushing on it and it has good give and it's not hard as a rock, then it might be a creamy, melty cheese. This cheesecloth scares me a little because it really wants to stick though. It's making me nervous for the 12-hour press, or for the overnight press. It still comes off, but slowly, I guess. Ooh. It's pulling some of that up. So this cheesecloth is taking so long. I told you guys last time my handprint was in it because the curds are so elastic and still really fresh. So I'm going to set it down on the table, but man, I'm not liking it. It really wants to stick and it's pulling some of the curds off. Ah! Well, that might be a complete failure for a overnight press. This is awful, you guys. Ugh. Well, darn. So much for cheese number 2 here. Ugh. Like this cheesecloth. Look at the cheesecloth. All that curd's just stuck to it. How am I supposed to redress it? Bummer. It is not. This is awful. Yep. Horrible. So I'm totally crying inside. Oh my gosh. This is like the devil cheesecloth. I'm very mad. Look at that, you guys. It all just stuck to it and pulled my darn curds apart. Ugh. I'm not sure what to do at this point. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just use one layer of it. It's not going to be perfect, but this cheese is already kind of... What a bummer. I'm so excited about the texture of these. So what did I learn here today, folks? Don't put off buying cheesecloth when you know you need it. I actually bought this cheesecloth because I knew I needed it, and then when it came I was like, what in the world is this junk? And here we are. So we're just going to dress it, or you know, just dress it and have the one layer. Hopefully that'll at least be able to salvage this a little bit, because that's a lot of work. So at this point, guys, it's just going to be pressing away at 20 pounds, and I will see you again in the morning when we take it out of here to brine it. I'm so sad about this one. Good morning, everybody. It is time to see if this cheese will potentially work out. It's been pressing overnight. I'm going to start with this one because I have a good feeling about this one with a good cheesecloth. The other one, I'm just really hoping. Oh, looks good. That is some elastic curd, man. Alright. It's always a fear that the cloth sticks to the darn cheese. This cloth I've had really good success with, though. Alright, so this one turned out really good. There was a couple scares there. Couple little spots got tore off with the cloth, but we can deal with that. This cheese feels really good. So now at this point, I'm going to salt it in a brine. So for 6 hours, it's going to be on one side. I'm going to salt the top. I'm going to flip it for another 6 hours. Alright, so we got it in the brine, and it does float. And because it's floating, I'm just going to sprinkle a little salt on the top. I'm going to lid this bad boy and move on to the next here. Fingers crossed, guys. Just smooth. I'm just thinking that is never going to come off of that cheese. It doesn't even want to come out of the press. Well. Jeez Louise, let's see. Look. Okay, well, I'm going to do my best. Oh, hopefully, look. Maybe, guys. All right. Is that fuzzy? Okay. This thing tried to get pressed right through. Well, it turned out a lot better than I thought it would, because I was thinking we wouldn't really have any cheese and it would all just be ruined like that. So the one hole, we can deal with that. So we're going to brine this one as well. Not too bad. I thought that was going to be a lot worse. I'm still never going to use that cheesecloth again. Alright. Good deal, guys. So there you go. I got 2 Monterey Jacks. In a couple days I'll be getting them waxed. So doing good. 2 more cheeses for the year. Feel good about that. And these ones I think are going to be really good. So thank you guys so much for watching. See you again soon.